Welcome to Talking Heads on USA Global TV, starring the one and only wonderful Dr. JACALYN. It's a prestigious place where world-class influencers and experts meet, and where you'll find the most trusted advisors and coaches for all things in life and business. Visit usaglobaltv.com to sign up for our newsletter, get the value you need, and be first in line to learn about events and giveaways and other valuable content. Connect with us. Email Dr. JACALYN at usaglobaltv.com to talk about how you can become part of USA Global TV. That's USA Global TV, where the doctor is always in.
And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I am not Dr. JACALYN. I am Ricki Mckenna. I am a certified nutritionist. I am a chef, an author. My book is behind me. Whoops, wrong side. And I'll tell you about that later. And I have been a certified nutritionist for over 20 years, helping people with understanding how food is the basis for their health. Whether they're, especially if they're little kids, through seniors and the so-called adults before we hit seniorhood. And so today what we're going to do is prepare something, a bowl, and we obviously have a bowl here that is going to be filled with the goodies. This is a salad that is actually a meal if you so choose. And on USA Global TV, this will be shown. It's Global TV and radio. So if you're listening to us, welcome to you all. Hope your ears are in good shape and your radio is playing well. And today, as I said, it's USA Global TV and radio, and this is Ricki's Kitchen. It is part of the United Kitchens. That's because we unite with other chefs every once in a while to share our expertise and share the kitchens and share with you the goodies that help make you healthy and happy and live longer. Okay, good idea. So today's bowl will be filled with a combination of whole grains, and today we're using quinoa. If you so choose, you can use farro, you can use barley, any other grain that you choose. I love quinoa, so I've made some tricolored quinoa. It's all ready. You can use it warm or cold. This has all been chilled. All my veggies today have been chilled. And we're going to use the quinoa. We're going to use gold beets, which have already been roasted to perfection. And if you have some left over, just pick them up and eat them because they're absolutely delicious. And we're going to use lacinato kale, which is a different kind of kale. And let me show you what it looks like. It's not like curly kale. It is a lot firmer, and it looks kind of bumpy because it is. And it's wonderful in smoothies. And whatever we cut out, which we will de-rib the kale today, whatever we cut out, don't throw those away. As a nutritionist, I suggest that you keep all the parts of vegetables unless there's something that's poisonous, which there isn't in this. And your stalks or the ribs will have plenty of nutrition, so you can put them in a smoothie. So there's one idea. So the first thing I'm going to do is de-rib these leaves and put them in. We'll cut them up once we get them de-ribbed. And as I said, do not throw these away. They're great in a smoothie along with the rest of the leaves. So we're going to de-rib the kale. You can use another kind of kale, but actually the firmness of this kale is really what you want in the salad. It's kind of like having romaine lettuce or another firm lettuce that's in your salad, plus the fact that it's loaded with vitamins and minerals. And it's not quite, I don't find it quite as bitter as some people say they find kale, and they have an objection to it because it tastes bitter. But when you combine it with other goodies, which we're going to do, including, and you'll see in a minute, we're going to start with some apple cider vinegar, and also I'm using avocado oil today, or you can use olive oil. You have your choice there. I'm a great believer in intuitive cooking, and taking a recipe and making it your own. So what I'm going to do right now is slice the big kale leaf so that it gets fixed easier into more bite-sized pieces. Then pile them up here. Haven't left myself enough room here. Wait a minute. There we go. And we're going to chop it up into bite-sized pieces and set it aside and make our dressing. Here we go. I would do a chiffonade, but then we have to cut it up again, so we're just going to chop it up this way. And for those of you who don't know what a chiffonade is, they're little skinnier pieces than I'm chopping up right now. And usually one would roll a leaf, roll it up, roll it up, roll it up, and then slice little tiny pieces and put those into whatever dish you're doing. So today we're just going to do chop chop. There it is. And we have probably about 2 cups just for fun. I'm going to measure it. And you can do this for 4 people. I would use about 5 cups of the kale. And in the meantime, let's see what I've got here. I'm guessing we have about 2 cups. This is a 2-cup measuring cup. Now we've got a little more, and that's fine. And for the rest of the salad, we're going to start with our large bowl, and we will take some avocado oil, about a tablespoon or 2 actually. I think what I'm going to use today is about a tablespoon and a half, and I have a tablespoon and a half spoon. So we're going to add the olive oil, and let's take that out of our way, and some apple cider vinegar, which is one of the best things in the world you can put into your body for alkalizing and for waking it up in the mornings. Take a tablespoon of the apple cider vinegar and even some lemon, fresh lemon, in a full glass of water. Great. Okay, we're going to do equal amounts of the vinegar and the oil. And then I'm going to take my lemon, and we need about a tablespoon of the lemon. So I've got, let's see what we have here. We've got a tablespoon to be official. Okay, I'm going to squeeze that. Not using my lemon squeezer. I think I should, since I just splashed my face, but it's very refreshing. Okay, we need a little more lemon juice, so we'll use the whole lemon that's here. There's 1. Oops. We will eliminate the seed and squeeze our lemon. There we go. And the other half, whoops, it's a little slippery. Okay. That's where I forgot what Mom taught me about. When you squeeze a lemon, you cover it. Especially if you're in company with somebody else in a restaurant, you're putting lemon in your water. Always, when you squeeze it, kind of cover it with your other hand. Okay. Give our hands a little wipe. Got some olive oil on there. And into the lemon juice and olive oil and apple cider vinegar, we're also going to add some salt and pepper. And we have grinders for both. So we're making the dressing, into which those wonderful kale leaves will go shortly. And we'll do what's called massaging, or just mixing gently so that we completely coat the kale leaves. Here's our pepper. And I'm using about, maybe half a teaspoon of salt. Greens naturally have salt, so you don't want to over salt something. And you can always add more later, taste it and add more later. I'm going to use a fork today to mix. You can use a fork or a whisk, take your choice. And let's see what else I'm going to put in there. Okay, now for the goodies from the garden. Fresh mint. We're going to chop up again about a tablespoon, and you can use as much as you like, but the recipe calls for that. And the easiest way, again, is to strip the leaves off by holding the top and pulling them down. And, oh, does that smell yum? Here we go. Let me check on something. Not sure that my volume is all the way up. There we go. I hope you can hear me a little better now. Sorry about that. Have to make adjustments. So there we go with the wonderful fresh mint. These are tiny baby peppermint leaves. You can use spearmint or peppermint, whatever you happen to have in your garden or at your store. And usually for cooking, I like the spearmint. And you'll find it in your toothpaste, among other things. Let's see what I've got here. Almost enough to do a tablespoon. There we go. So I'm stripping my leaves carefully and enjoying the aroma of the wonderful fresh mint. Get this out of the way. Here we go. And we'll chop that up. And chopping it up, of course, releases even more of the oils and wonderful aromas from the mint. And you can do it as fine as you like, or if you want it a little bit bigger in your salad in the bowl, you can leave it a little bigger. I'm just going to mince it. Make it small and yummy. Okay, here we go. In the bowl with the mint. And let's make sure we get it all in there. And mix that up. And now we'll take our cup or 2.5 of kale leaves. And I'm going to pour in about half and start mixing the dressing around on it and massaging it. You can do this for a couple of minutes just to make sure that all of the leaves really get saturated with the dressing. There you go. And as you can see, it's picking it up. You can see when it gets shiny, that means it's picking up the dressing, which is great. So we'll just give it a little bit more of a massage. And what I did yesterday, or this morning as well, was I cooked the beets. I cut them into tiny bite-sized pieces. Here's an example. And I cut them first before I roasted them. And the only thing I put on them for roasting was a wee bit of olive oil. Just drizzle the pan, lay them out as flat as you can get, as evenly as you can on a cookie sheet or a shallow baking pan, and put them in the oven at about 375 or 400, and keep an eye on them. They need to get cooked through, but not mushy, because you want it to be kind of chunky and not quite crunchy in the salad. And so I put them in there for about, I think it was about 12 minutes, and then kind of shuffled them around, mixed them around a little bit, made sure that everything had oil on it, all of the pieces, and put them back in for another 3 to 5 minutes. And if you leave them in any longer, they will almost caramelize and become absolutely deliciously sweet. It's almost like having candy. And they're a lot better for you than candy. So, at any rate, okay, I think we've massaged the kale enough. And so we will add, let's see. What I wanted to do was just show you how I had cut them up. I've got a little bit of the shallots in here. We're going to add some minced shallot. And remember that in order to keep yourself from crying, if you're sensitive to the allium and the chemicals in shallots and onions and garlic, especially onions, which I am, always cut from the top with the root in the hand that you're holding it with, so that you don't get an eyeful of all those fumes that make you cry. We don't want you crying. We want you being able to cut the food up and put it in to your salad and your bowl without any problems. So there we go. We've got minced shallot. I'm going to go one more time through it to make sure it's teeny tiny and flavorful. So now we have the dressing, and we'll put our shallots in and mix those up. And if you haven't used shallots, if you don't happen to have shallots, I'm sure a red onion would do just as well. It'll be a little different in flavor. We're going to add the rest of the shallots there. But it will be absolutely delicious. And I'm going to mix as I go so that I get each ingredient mixed up thoroughly so it's blended well. Here we go. Alrighty. And our next things that go in will be the beets. So I just want to give you a little quick lesson in the beets and how to get them. They're gold beets. You can see that. They're beautiful inside. You can eat them raw. You can eat them cooked. So what I'm going to do is slice it first vertically and then slice it into small bite-sized pieces. And I think you can see here. Just wanted to let you know how we do this. Now you can use it raw like this. They're great in a salad if you make them small enough. Because otherwise people will kind of bite into them, and unless they know it's a beet, it's like, ooh, what is this? And they're delicious. So I'm going to keep these to do later. We'll just put those back in a little dish. So you can see how tiny they are. Let me just bring them up. Okay, they're tiny bite-sized pieces. And for those of you watching, they are tiny bites, listening, they are tiny bite-sized pieces. It's not quite minced, but it's little pieces. And so I'm going to take the cooked ones and add them a little bit at a time. I've got almost 2 cups of them cooked. So we've got 2.5 cups of the kale and about the same amount of beets. And beets, of course, are wonderfully nutritious, as well as the kale. So this is where I say you can use this as a salad, or you can actually make it a main meal. I would do a wonderfully crusty bread with it, with maybe some herb butter or garlic butter, and serve a nice chilled white wine. It's a lovely salad. Okay, now here comes the protein part besides the beets. We've got quinoa, and I've got about 2 cups of quinoa, but I'm only going to use about half. And I think that's going to be plenty, because you just want it in there, and it will mix up beautifully with everything in there. And quinoa is about 40% protein. If you were using barley or another grain like farro or, farro's really not a grain, but I like the whole grain quinoa because I happen to love quinoa. And my family does. So we use the quinoa. And I like the tricolor because it's pretty. And remember, by the way, when you're cooking, before you cook your quinoa, even if it says it has been rinsed on the package that you buy it in, give it a rinse anyway. Give it some cool water and make sure you run it through, because that takes the coating that quinoa has that can be bitter, that removes it. So there's your quinoa. We've got our beets. And now for the fun part. We have arils, pomegranate arils, which are the seeds. So we're going to first plate it. And I can show you one that's already been done. And we've added some feta. So the finishing touches on this wonderful salad are the pomegranate and the feta cheese, crumbled feta cheese. And so we're just going to pour some in a bowl. We've got about 2 servings here, maybe a little bit more. Depends on how hungry you are. And let's see, I'm going to put this over here. And put that back where it belongs. And I've got about 1/4 cup of the pomegranate arils, so I'm just going to scatter them, about half of them on here. Isn't that pretty? And then take my feta cheese and scatter that. And if you're truly a vegan, you might want to get a vegan cheese similar to feta. I haven't found one yet that I like, but there we go. And here we have it, lunch. And I'll explain a little bit more. Excuse me. I like this at room temperature, but when it's chilled, it's really delicious, as delicious as when it's room temperature. I find just my personal taste is that having it at room temperature, we have a better chance of really thoroughly tasting the flavors of each of the vegetables. Now, I think maybe the pomegranate arils could be chilled. And this one, actually, we used, instead of pomegranate, we had craisins. So they're in there, gives the salad a little bit more sweetness. You have your choice. And then another way to garnish it would be some toasted sunflower seeds. We can put a little of those on there. Let's see. Maybe about a tablespoon. And of course, putting the nuts in adds some omega-3s, especially with the sunflower seeds. And just gives it a little bit more crunch. So, really that was quick. That was, what was it, about 20 minutes? And there you have a meal. So I invite you to try that. I will send, Dr. JACALYN will have the recipe. It'll be posted on USA Global TV and radio. And for those of you on radio, please check into your online, whatever you use. It will be posted there. It'll be on YouTube. And let me just show you. There are more recipes in here. If you so choose to purchase, it is on Amazon. It is my book, and it's Yes, You Can Eat Well and Eat Right. And this is a perfect example of it, because you've got lots of different things in here that create a delicious meal that is filling, it is thoroughly nourishing, and will keep most people satisfied. And you can, as I say, you can use it as a salad. You can serve a little bit less, of course. Or you can use it as a main course and add some, a crusty bread would be wonderful. You can reach me on rickiskitchen.net. That's RICKISKITCHEN.net. That's my website. I will meet you there and say hi. And there's a lot of different things on there, including the book. You can purchase the book on there at a discount. On my Patreon page, which is patreon.com/Ricki McHealthy. That's my nickname, RICKIMC Healthy. And other than that, if you text me at my phone number, I will answer if you put kitchen in the top of your text, or Ricky's Kitch, however you want to do it. It's 970-618-7607. And so books available on Amazon. If you want the spiral version, which is what I'm holding, it's a little smaller than this, but it's easier to see this way. You have to call me or get it on the website. So again, it's rickiskitchen.net. And remember that food is more than thought. It's more than just something that you eat. Food for thought is how you put it together, as well as when everybody gathers in the kitchen, you're not just talking about food, you're thinking, you're speaking, you're communicating, and everybody has to eat food, so they all gather in the kitchen. This is my happiness room. So you can find us again next week on USA Global TV and radio, and it's called Ricky's Kitchen. It's called the United Kitchens on USA Global TV and Radio. And you'll see Dr. JACALYN shortly. And I thank you very much and have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy your salad.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Yalin Xiao. I'm a ballerina from Italy. After 2 years of waiting, finally I fulfilled my dream of learning etiquette. This learning process has become unforgettable for me. The patient and professional teachers have helped me to get a more comprehensive knowledge about etiquette culture. The British School of Excellence provided me the best way to live gracefully, respectful attitude, lighter mood, and heart, where our love is innocent. Thank you.
Hello, my name is JACALYN Kerbeck. I'm known professionally as Dr. JACALYN. I am the founder and president of USA Global TV and Radio, and I also am known as the listening mentor. I teach people to listen at an elevated level. The power of listening is an opportunity for people to watch role plays. When we watch these role plays, many times we can see ourselves in the role play. I teach people how to set boundaries as an elevated listener. And when we're listening at an elevated level, we're listening without judging the other person. My goal, my wish, my mission is for us to respect each other, hold again that safe space for people to share their comments, their feelings, so it doesn't escalate. It's not years of being unheard. I'm asking you to open your heart, open your mind, and open your ears to support a world of inner peace and elevated listening. Thank you for your time today.
Hi, my name is Al Seeding. I facilitate a process called brand and culture alignment that builds teams around their purpose. And the result of it is teams of people that are highly engaged and highly energized, that work hard, that are very innovative and creative and take the initiative and make things happen. That's what I do for a living. Prior to that, I was a project manager for a number of large companies. And I used to think I was a pretty good listener. I mean, a big part of managing a project is listening to the people on the project, and especially listening to the people that the project serves. And I became pretty good at listening logically to what people had to say. But what I wasn't very good at, and I didn't realize that until I took Dr. Jacalyn's listening program, what I didn't realize is that you really need to learn how to listen emotionally and empathetically. And the power of listening for me was a game changer, because I learned how to listen to people express themselves and their feelings, and not just what they were thinking. And I also learned something I never had before, which is the patience to listen to people fully and completely until they're finished expressing what they have in mind. So I highly recommend Dr. Jacalyn's program. It's terrific. It's very effective. And it made a difference for me in my personal life and in my professional life both. And, I think it's something everybody ought to consider.